Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason and the channel is The Everyday Card Collector. I am here with my good friend Aaron from Value Vintage Cards. How are you, sir?
I am excellent. How are you doing?
Very good. So for those who don't know, Aaron and I talk quite a bit. So we've actually tossed around doing another series, which we're kicking off today. This will be episode 1 in conjunction with our Mount Rushmore series, which we've kind of been lax on, if that's fair to say. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's an
Yeah.
understatement, I think, at this point.
Right. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do Mount Rushmore, attempt to do Mount Rushmore at a minimum once a month, and then this series, which we'll kind of generically title it at this point in time, player and set deep dives. So that's gonna kick off this episode at least, and we're gonna do a set deep dive and a player deep dive and share cards of both that set and this particular player. We've kind of shared duties as far as researching and doing our thing here. So I think this should be fun. I think we wanted to start with the set, right?
Yeah, I think that'll flow nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. Anything else you wanted to add on the rough intro before we dive in?
No, I think this is it all kind of stems because we collect so similarly, and I think that's part of why we end up chatting and discussing and bouncing ideas off each other. But it is interesting. We're sharing ideas and sharing sets and say, I need to do a video on that. Like, I do too. Hold off. So that's kind of where this came from, is just like, let's get together and chat about it together.
Right. And the first player that we're talking about, we were talking about him in particular and said, yep, man, we should just do a video on him. And then this kind of culminated into set. Now, in all fairness, to be 100% honest, a lot of my collecting habits have changed recently, and that's due to the influence of you and some of my other friends, Joe, Mangini, things of that nature. I've shifted gears quite a bit, and I still, again, love to collect the Golden Era stuff, but based on your guys' influence, I'm having an absolute blast with it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's always an evolution. I think we all do. It's you either kind of fill up the bucket and you decide to go into something else, or you discover something new. So it's always an evolution.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, I guess we're going to start off with the set, right? So we'll start off with the set that we are going to be discussing today, guys, is the R303 set. So that is the 1939 Goudey premium set that was produced by the Goudey Gum Company. Should I get into a little details on it, Aaron, and then we'll kind of show some cards? All right. So I did a little deep dive on the set. For those of you who follow my channel at all, and Aaron's for that matter, I have a few of these. Aaron's got quite a few more, but it's a beautiful, beautiful set. Set was issued in 1939. Here's the thing that I did a little deep dive on my research, and there is a R303A, R303B, and an R303C. So kind of 3 sets within the R303 designation. The information that I found is that the set A has 48 cards within the set, and then B and C each have 24 within the set. That being said, set A is a different size. So set B and set C are the same size, but set A is a little different. So set A is 4 by 6 and 3/16, and set B and C are 4 3/4 by 7 1/4. I find it a little confusing and found it interesting because after I did the research, I went onto eBay to look up some cards, and I think a lot of these, based on the information that I found, are designated incorrectly within the eBay title. Not that means much, right? So, I mean, it's not a big shocker. But I was looking at some of the flips, and if you have any more knowledge, in particular a PSA flip, and the information that I had versus what I was seeing was kind of contradicting. So I went on to oldcardboard.com, and I also went on to PSA. What I found on oldcardboard.com is that set A, which is the smaller set, 4 by 6 and 3/16, they called it the brownish color. I call that sepia. And to correct myself on that, I did a live on Cardboard and Cold Ones Thursday. We are filming this over the weekend, guys. And I had said that sepia is very similar to a halftone. It's just a different color. I was incorrect. And actually, sepia does refer to color. I looked it up because I wasn't certain if I was right or not. And the funny thing is, Scott Reindeer Studios corrected me. He said, I think you're talking about duotones. And the minute he said that in the chat, I said, you're absolutely right. And Mangini even said, he was on with us, said, yeah, I thought sepia referred to the color. I said, no, I don't think it does. It's how many colors are printing within the, like a halftone or a duotone or a tritone. I was incorrect. So sepia tone, for the record, is kind of the brownish hue. So the set A is 4 and 6 by 3/16, and they're designating that as the brownish hue. Now, set B and C, which I believe seem to me to be a little more common, are slightly larger at 4 3/4 by 7 1/4. The B is what they are calling the reddish tone. So I did see it visually online. I could see a little bit more of a reddish hue than the brownish hue, but I don't know if that just meant brownish sepia when it was designated in oldcardboard.com. And then set C was black and white only. So I don't have a lot of these. I only have 3 of them. 2 of them are black and white. 1 is the sepia. I measured all of mine. They're either part of the B or the C set. One of them being sepia, I would assume, is an R303B, and the 2 black and whites are an R303C. That's what I see it as. They weren't labeled as that. Most of them are labeled as Bs. So I don't know. And even in the research that I was doing, they designated A, B, and C, aside from the size difference, as a color difference. So I don't know. You have more than me. So maybe there is one a little more reddish than the sepia brown and the black and white. Because I saw Lefty Gomez that looked awfully red online, but it's a digital image. So
I'm looking. I really only have. I only have one that's not black and white.
You only have one black and white?
I have one that's not black and white.
Oh, okay. You only
How
have one.
crazy is that?
Okay, so the funny thing is, so not knowing the details of this particular set, I knew what R303s were. I didn't know there were 3 designations. I knew there were different colors. I knew there were sepias and black and whites. When I bought one of them at the National, I had the option to go with the black and white or the sepia. And I went sepia because I didn't have one. I'm like, okay, I definitely want to do that. So I only have 1 sepia and my other 2 are black and whites. But I think there's a little gray area as to what. So I looked up a couple other sites. Oldcardboard.com kind of broke it out in the most basic terms. I was looking up PSA. They were in line with the set A having 48 cards and B and C having 24. Call them subsets, if you will. All designated at the same point in time. There is, which I know you're very familiar with, there is a Canadian version designated the V351, which is similar, a lot of different images than what you're seeing, what you would see in the Goudeys, because the V351s are worldwide gum, obviously, being Canadian. Size, I think, is different than the other 2 sizes. So it's 4 by 5 3/4. So even a little smaller. It's the smallest one of the 4 sets, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah, and then a couple designated 25 cards in the set. What the information that I could find on that, now we're kind of veering off because it's the V351, but it's kind of like the R303s.
Yeah.
They are designated as all sepias. Is that correct? Or do you have black and whites?
No, I only have 1, honestly, and I did pull it just to show it. So yeah, okay. I've only got the 1. Yeah.
Okay. You've mentioned it on your channel, and I just double checked it, even though I knew you were correct. One of the easiest ways to tell is the key line on the back is not on the back, is not on the V351s. So it's a quick designation. Obviously, I don't know because I didn't look at one close enough. I don't know if it's. I'm assuming it's manufactured by Worldwide Gum on the bottom tagline instead of the Goudey company. They're different companies. Or maybe there's no designation.
Well, I may potentially have damage in the one corner.
Okay. Or it might not be there. They might not even exist.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh wait, no. No, I see it. Nope. It does lithographed in I have CA.
Okay.
So
there you go. So that's another way to. Yeah.
So
another way to tell. I think people get a little bit confused with this set because it is a Goudey set. The gum that these cards were promoting was Goudey's Diamond Stars gum. So Diamond Stars a lot of people assimilate that to National Chickle, and there's very little to, there's no affiliation. So these are Goudeys, these are not National Chickles. But if you look at the back of the cars, I think they say Diamond Stars Gum. Have you ever heard that before? Because I actually read that. I'm like, oh, I never even really looked at that.
No, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
So this one says manufactured by the Goudey Gum Company.
Your V350.
No, one of the, just one of the standards.
Okay. So I've got on one, but right above that, does it say Diamond Stars Gum?
It does, yes. Yep.
Yeah. So I think some people, that could kind of throw some people thinking, oh, is it a Chickle? It's a Goudey. It truly is a Goudey. They're actually competing companies, but I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that either. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think, to kind of wrap it up, I don't want to bore people because I did take a lot of notes. These were issued out of promotional boxes. They were a penny a piece in 1939 out of that promotional box. So 1 penny would give you one of these particular cards. And unfortunately, they're not a penny a piece now. But yeah, that's kind of that's my 7-minute rant on just the set itself. Anything that I missed or that you're aware of, Aaron, possibly?
I don't think. I mean, I probably have some questions. I'd almost want to follow up on it and stuff. The checklist, did you find, because I appreciate the set and I know a little bit about the set, but is the checklist the same between A's and B's and C's?
I didn't check the checklist between B and C to A. I was under my assumption was, and this is only an assumption, I didn't do that much research to compare checklist to checklist. And you can, if you go into the PSA, if you go into PSA, they'll show you that. My assumption was both set A and B were potentially the combined set. Both sets B and C at 24 each were the combined of the 48 for A. But I don't know that. I don't know that to be true or not. So I don't want to throw that out there. I guess, you know what, I could have done that, and I didn't do that. It's interesting.
Just thinking. Yeah, you're don't want to bore people thing. To me, this is where I nerd out, and this is what I love, which is why I'm excited to do this kind of series with you. Is I've seen other channels, other experts, and sometimes you get to be an expert by just spending an hour researching and then sharing what you found for 5 minutes. So
right.
Sometimes you sound a little more experienced than you are, or smarter than you might deserve, but that's kind of the beauty of this. So I appreciate you getting into the weeds on some of the finer details.
No, definitely. Did you understand it? Because I didn't understand that. And again, I went to like 6 websites, but as I was reading through them, a lot of it was redundant. PSA and old cardboard. I went to the trading card database as well, and kind of, it was the same thing as old cardboard. But designating the sets based on the color, I thought was a little odd. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't, but if you go online right now, when we're done, we'll go online. You can watch this, and anybody who's watching this, go online. You will see some of the black and whites that would be designated as set C being called out as R303B. So that was my conundrum. I don't know that old cardboard is the .com is the dead set definitive answer. So, but this is kind of some of the research that I was doing and finding, and like information in PSA and bits and pieces and trading card database as well. So
yeah, well, and as we're going into some of these things, and I know we've talked about this too. When you start looking at the grading companies, they've evolved in how they even label sets over time. And I just picked up a card that I'm like, oh, it's a pop 15 according to how many's been graded, and then you look and there's another 19 graded that aren't specified if they're this variation or that variation. Like, some of those are, but I don't know how many. So the pop report instantly is ish, and
right.
You're kind of guessing anyway. So I'm going to guess there's a lot of mislabeled, miscategorized, whatever typos.
Yeah, I would assume so too. And for most of the type collectors out there, I'd be really interested to know, do these differences make a big deal to, or are they a big deal to them enough to go out and get one of each? Typically, I don't. If I like a set, I just want to get a couple cards, 2 or 3, or certain players if I like that player. In this particular case, I do want to find what they're designating as set A because it's smaller. So I do not have that. I put a tape measure on all of mine, and mine either fall in set B or C. 303 is B or C. So I don't know if you have any A's, or if you can visually see as we're showing cards if it's significantly smaller or not. I mean, it's minuscule. It's less than an inch and less than 3/4 of an inch in some case. So it's tough to just visually see. So
I'll have to check. I was kind of doing that as you were firing off the measurements and just trying to measure them against something that's been evaluated as in a slab. It looks like everything is the same, which would be
right.
somewhat shocking to have 10 that are all from the same set, but maybe set A is just that tough.
Yeah, and
I
that's
don't
the
know.
question I have because I didn't know about the size change. If if this is all valid information, and all three of mine measured out as B or C. So is set A more scarce? Is it is it that much harder to find? Kind of wrap it up in a bow. They were saying, these cards were produced right at the start of World War II. So, that's why there might be a decrease in the population of the cards. But, I kind of found that statement to be a little bit contradictory because you can go online and find these things all over the place. They're not like super, super, super difficult to find. So I'm not sure where that was leaning. Maybe that was a statement that was made a while ago before these things flooded eBay because everybody had them and just didn't put them up there.
Could be. Well, and I have a majority that are ungraded. So again, you throw out the pop report idea, and you have to go back and look at the DiMaggios and some of the bigger cards. But I think the Ted Williams is actually pretty tough to find, and the population report showed very small, quantity. But that's obviously the one you'd grade if you're a grading person because it's big. So
yep, absolutely,
I don't know.
absolutely.
Yeah, what do we know? We're all trying to figure it out.
So should we share some? You want to share a few?
Absolutely.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say let me share this one. I'll share some of mine first, just because I want to share the Canadian. So just for the perspective of the size difference, this one is in the same. I'll show a slab directly after it. Definitely much smaller. If you look at the case it's in, the next one will be the exact same size. This one has some like frosting around it just to kind of fill it in and make it a little more decorative and framed. And the back, like we talked about, has no line around it. So what you want to look for is the line that would go around, and then it does say in this corner by my finger now, that's printed in Canada. But the backs are just the coolest thing in the world. So
yeah, there wasn't there. I didn't even get into it, Aaron. There was a nickname, or a lot of people refer to the set as the how-to set because the backs are all how to play baseball and tips and tricks on how to play baseball. So a lot of people refer to it as the how-to set. And I also don't want to minimize the fact that you just showed the Canadian Ted Williams, if you don't mind putting that up there again, because that's a monster card. And for those who might not be as familiar with this set, considered rookie card and even more rare / scarce because it's a Canadian issue. That is an incredible card. So I just wanted you to pop it back up there because I love that thing.
That to me, that's my favorite Ted item, and I'm beyond thrilled that I have it. There's 11 of them graded, I think. So pretty ecstatic that that's found its way to my house.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Let me do this one back to back just so you can get an idea. So this is the exact same size slab. There's no frosty fake border to it. It's a much fuller fill in. This is Melot. This is labeled. This is my only one that's labeled as, is it sepia or sepia?
I always say sepia.
Okay.
Tomato. I say sepia.
Okay.
Some people say sepia.
So yeah, this is labeled as 303B. I think I've always been a sepia person, but I feel like you have a much greater expertise, so maybe I'll convert myself to sepia.
It's just it could be you're from the same region as me. I was gonna say it's a regional thing,
Exactly.
I think most Chicago people will tell you it's sepia. I've heard sepia in the printing industry and the design industry as well, so you hear it both ways.
Yeah.
So that is kind of sepia. So that it's designated as a B, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so in my world, on the information that I found, that's designated correctly.
It is correctly?
Yes, because the B would be the quote unquote reddish tone / sepia tone.
Okay.
Call it
so anything
sepia.
that's anything black and white that says B is wrong. So I've got two more wrong ones. Should I show those real quick?
Yeah, that's what I see. So that's why I'm like, is what I looked up correct? If anybody has any knowledge of this as you're watching this, please chime in the comments. I'd love to hear it. But yeah, go ahead.
We'll send this to Rick, Mangini, Stukes, Orlando.
Right.
Somebody will do a 5-minute response and tell us we're silly and amateur out. But it's between it being labeled wrong and information on the internet. I just bought a card the other day that was they're slabbed everywhere as 1927. And I was like, this is driving me nuts because the picture I have is a guy that played for a different team in 1927. So what is this going on here? And I looked it up and like, yeah, it's really a 1929 set. They've got it wrong, and even the Great Americans got it wrong forever. So who knows what they're doing? But yeah, Jimmy Fox, super cool image of him jumping, and the how-to. It is funny. We're both big fans of back damage, but this is one that you can't possibly enjoy the entire experience of what these are. So mine are much higher grades. I had a 1, a 2, and a 1.5. So
that's high end for you. That's high number.
This is paying up for the premium condition. And then Luke Appling, which is of course somebody that I do collect. This one's how to umpire bases. So it's not even just playing baseball. It's the full experience of the game. So you're getting umpiring and everything included. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
But do you want to show a couple of yours?
Those are both labeled as Bs, correct?
They are. Yeah, they're both black and white 303B.
I will say this. I wasn't finding anything labeled C online. I'm wondering if this is like, is it, what is it? Is it real? Is the information I was looking up even valid? But hey, I did a deep enough dive where I'm like, all right, this is definitely something to talk about. So yeah, it's interesting.
That's fun. It's controversial.
Yeah, you can clearly see that they're bigger than the Canadian one because, as we mentioned earlier, the Canadian issue of the 4 versions, if you include the Canadian, that was the smallest of the 4. So I only have 2 to share, minus the player that we'll kind of transition to for the player deep dive of this part of section. So I'll share mine, and then we can go back and share some more of yours if you want. Cool. So I've got this not too long ago. This was recent. Archivon.
Love it.
Beautiful. I just love what I love about this set is the softness of the images and kind of the retouched edges around the players where it's all softened and kind of comes in and out of the background. I think it's phenomenal. Such a classy way to do things from 1939. I think it's awesome. Right. And this one's How to Field Grounders. So you will see at the bottom, manufactured by the Goudey company, and then right above it, Diamond Stars Gum. So there's my Archie. So now this, to me, would be the black and white. I'll kind of try and do this. There's my Bill Dickey that I got at the National. So clearly black and white versus sepia or sepia, however you prefer it. Beautiful image of Bill Dickey. But again, this would be B to me, and this would be C based on the information I had. But again, hopefully, I'm going to have to even do some deeper diving after this. But what it has done is really juiced me up to get more of these on this set, period. So that's just by that deep dive, I'm like, all right, I need more of these.
Yeah, it's dangerous to do this, to be honest. But
right.
It's for the greater good, right?
Absolutely. Education and me buying more stuff.
Well, it's funny because yours were exactly 2 that I also snagged, and the Archivon, I will tell you, he's one of those players. I would really love to do a Mount Rushmore of Hall of Famers no one knows, because I mean Archivon is a phenomenal shortstop.
100%.
Like I'm feeling myself getting pulled more and more, which is kind of like part 2. What we're doing here is really getting back and focusing on what made us get interested in this entire process. And initially it's that pull to the players. You're interested in the players, and then you discover they're on different kinds of cardboard and paper and different things, and you're like, well, that's kind of neat that it's unique and different and hard to find, but it's that player pull. Right. There's my Bill Dickey that's got these. What's funny with these is, we always say like pinholes are no problem. This one has, almost target practice at the top. There's 4 pretty good size holes. I think I could probably see you through there. Yep, I can see you. So that's pretty significant. But the back is clean enough. And for me, I will take holes. I'll take, staining. Let me read the back because that's how to catch behind the bat.
I'm with you. Yep.
That's pretty
and the
darn
image
cool.
itself isn't affected by it. It's at the top. It's at the top of the card. It's perfect.
Yep. It's in that blacked out area where they're,
Yep.
that main focus on the player is still super good. So let's see if I can persuade you to check out one of these guys. Here's another one that's in Archie Vaughn's classification is Joe Cronin.
He's on the list of affordability for this set too. And again, guys, I don't mean to interrupt Aaron. This set, if you're buying like Aaron and I ungraded, and if pinholes or lower graded quote unquote items don't bother you, this is you'd be insane. You'd be surprised at how insanely affordable this is. As long as it's not, the big hitters. This is an affordable set.
Yeah. Most of these are, to quote me, dozens of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
My weird terminology, but yeah, I mean, it's what I picked up 3 or 4 the other day, and I don't think I even came close to $200 for all 4.
Sure. Sure.
It's phenomenal. This was one that was more expensive, and I feel like kind of interesting. Ernie Lombardi, I wouldn't say is like a premium player above Joe Cronin or above Luke Appling or above some of the other people, Archie Vaughn. I think it's just the image is so gosh darn good that people said that more people want that than maybe they would if it was a different Lombardi.
Catcher images are phenomenal.
They really are.
If I'm not mistaken, and we don't need to talk prices, you caught that one at a pretty good deal, though, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, all 4 of them, grand total, and I think they're in pretty legit shape. I mean, they're all ungraded, but they were 20s, 30s. I think one was 50.
Right.
Right. But yeah, that's the other one. My first Billy Herman.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So doing these birthdays, I'm going through and realizing like I don't have a card of that guy. What? So, and kind of an insane project, but it's definitely humbling. So.
I know it's keeping you busy for certain. That I do know.
Yeah. There's the Joe Gordon, which is, phenomenal early career item for him, how to cover a base. So sometimes I feel like the kind of description and story they tell in the back makes sense. I mean, no player is going to do how to like umpire, but
right.
Somebody had to get it, but some of them really do make sense. How to apply a tag, how to steal a base, different things like that are kind of appropriate. So I'm down to the one we both have that's going to lead us into kind of our next category.
All right, so you show yours first, and our next category is going to be, guys, I hope that before we dive into that, I hope you found that somewhat educational. If anything was misconstrued, definitely let me know in the comments. We're guys just loving cards and doing deep dives just like you would at home. So if you find something different, I'd love to hear it. But that's kind of what we dug up. So we'll get into the player now, and I'll let you show them.
Yeah. So player end of things, and if you can show yours at the same time if you want. Yes. Both have this one, don't we? So both black and white.
Yep.
It's awesome.
And just beautiful image. I'll show the back. How to lay out. I didn't even see it. How to lay out a ball field.
So yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's all. I didn't even notice the back on that one. That one's awesome.
Yeah. That was actually my favorite thing of that one. I was like, the Al Simmons, like just for the back alone, I want to get that.
That is very cool. So we'll go into the set to the player. So you did what started this whole thing is you and I chatting about this particular player, and you rattled off an insane stat to me that I'm sure you'll share. But why don't we talk a little bit about Al Simmons?
I did, and this kind of brings me back to kind of how I lead the birthday thing. So I try and pull out some of those big highlights. His overall WAR wasn't enormous. I think it's in the high 60s. I didn't even write that one down of all the crazy things, but what an amazing hitter. So he had 6 200 hit seasons. He had 11 straight. This is insane. 300 average with 100 RBI seasons. That was to start his career. First 11 years, I mean, just legit. He had a total of 12 100 RBI seasons, which has him, I think there's 9 guys that have done that. So he's kind of tied for third. I think there's 14 is the record, then 13, and there's a tier of guys with 12. So, I mean, that's pretty darn elite. he had, let's see, where'd I go? So on top of the 6 200 hit seasons, he had 4 other seasons with 180 plus. So a lot of times I start looking at like, where's he close? Where else
Right.
does he play or near?
So we had said 602, and then what were 2 of them 198? Then you start looking at 180, and
I think he had a 199 even in there. Yeah, it's pretty
okay.
crazy. Yeah. So 4 others with 180. He had 4 seasons. He had 2 batting titles, but he had 4 seasons where he hit above 380. So monster seasons. In 1925, he had 253 hits. So he gets kind of overlooked because of Sisler and now Ichiro, but I mean 253 hits is pretty amazing with the amount of games they played. He's still the all-time record holder for multi-hit games.
Oh, so, really? That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's a unique little stat for someone that didn't even have 3,000 hits. That's tough to do.
Right.
So that's being efficient and really getting it done. So I also tracked this. So he's one of those players. I feel like he's like, we have the Hall of Very Good. I feel like he's the next tier of inner circle. Like he almost would have had a career you would have said like, holy cow. He finished 2nd in the MVP voting twice. He finished 3rd in MVP voting twice. And he also had another season that finished 4th, and another season he finished 5th. He was out there playing with Fox and Ruth and Gehrig and Grove, and it's what are you going to do? So monster competition, but still had seasons he was finishing that high up. Career 915 OPS, 103 OPS plus. The crazy stat I threw at you, and we can do this for trivia. Everyone's kind of having fun with trivia stuff. So there's 2 players that have a career average above 330 or 330 or higher and have 500 home runs. Can you get those 2? That should be quick and easy, probably.
Right. Oh, you want me to do it, or are we?
Yeah, I'm gonna quiz you. Okay, I'm gonna quiz you.
All right. People so one more time. Let me hear it again.
Have to have a career average of 330 or higher and 500 home runs. There's 2 players.
I'm not Ted Williams.
Yeah, that's one.
That's one. And what is the career? You said career average of what?
Yeah, 330 or higher.
330 or higher, 500 homers. Tony Gwynn hit 500 homers?
Nah, he's a slap hitter. Think big bomber. Think big bomber. Think big bomber. Nah, older guy. He's
Ruth?
the guy. Yeah.
Ruth? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think Ruth is 342, and obviously 714's.
Yeah, what am I thinking? Tony Gwynn wasn't slapping the ball out of the park.
Yeah, no, he probably did it with doubles for sure.
Right.
The next tier down is 2 more players, so they would have met it with 400 or more home runs and a 330 average. So there's the next 2 guys, monsters. Both are epic first basemen, at least for part of their career. One was all-time first base. The other one's first base and outfield.
So Gehrig
is definitely one.
And then first base and outfield.
Yeah.
Didn't play any catcher, did he?
No. But he did play in St. Louis, if that helps.
First base and outfield in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Pujols?
No. This guy was the man. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, Stan the man. All right. Stan the man Musial. My bad.
Yeah. No, you're good. Everyone's old. So I think the combination of big power and average, obviously the averages in the old days were a little skewed to the high side. So
I love that.
Tend to not get
you
anybody
need to bring that every time we do this. I love that. That is awesome.
Well, here's the brutal thing. Here's the other 2. So 2 players squeaked in with the average and only having 300 home runs.
Well, I know one of them, right?
Yeah, there's one. And the other one actually has a much higher average, but home run wise was very, very close and similar. So he just crept in with the home runs.
So obviously Al Simmons was one of those, right? And then old, you said old?
Yes, definitely. This is kind of fun.
Mel Ott?
No. I will.
Was he a teammate of Al Simmons at any point in time?
Simmons went different teams. I don't think so. It's another St. Louis guy, though. I'll say that.
Oh, really? Old St. Louis guy. So, Mize?
No. Old St. Louis. Older than Slaughter. Infielder. Second base to be exact.
Second base, older for the Cardinals. This is terrible. I'm a Cardinal fan and I'm blanking out here.
He's one of my favorites.
Not Shane, not Shane Beans.
Before him. 20s, 30s. I think Goudey.
Hornsby?
Yeah.
Duh.
Hornsby, I think Hornsby had like 301 home runs or something.
Why did it take me so long to get to him? My God.
Because it's on the spot. You didn't know you were taking a quiz today.
I like it. I don't mind being wrong. That's because there's someone who's going to watch this go, what are you? Hornsby. So that's good.
That's the fun of it. What a list, though. I mean, think about that. Ruth, Williams, Musial, Gehrig, Hornsby, and Al freaking Simmons.
Right.
Like,
that's a
who got that
monster list.
Yeah.
That is a monster list.
Yeah.
And you already told me those answers, and I forgot. I think you told me that, didn't you?
I never told the answers. No, I said there's 6, and everyone. See, that's the assumption of the industry, though, is everyone's like, oh yeah, of course 6. I'm like, yeah.
right.
It's tough. I'm guessing everyone else in that text thread was thinking the same thing. Like, I got Ruth and Williams, and I don't know some other guys, but.
I went to Williams and didn't even go to Ruth. It took me a second to get to Ruth. I'm like, holy jeez.
Yeah.
But that is that. So again, you had mentioned, Archie Vaughn might fall in this category. I think John 3D80's kid did a video on top 11 shortstops or 10. I think it was 11 for a reason. And he had Archie Vaughn in there.
Yeah.
And I thought that was awesome. And you start to deep dive on the numbers, and they're crazy, but certainly Al Simmons needs a little more respect based on his career. Now, that being said, an extremely affordable player when it comes to these sets and cards we're going to share in comparison to most other Hall of Fame players within these sets. At least I feel that way. For those of you who know me and know the channel at all, I'm a budget buyer, right? I can't afford a ton of big stuff. So my gravitation to Al Simmons wasn't even initially the player until I started picking up the cards. It was I know he's a Hall of Famer. I know he did a stint with the White Sox. I want him in the White Sox uniform. Well, I think I have 5 Al Simmons cards. I think the first 3 I picked up, he wasn't in a White Sox uniform. So I finally got one with him in it. And he's got a few of them out there, but finally got one in him, got one with him in it, and then started to deep dive a little bit on the player and found out how incredible he actually was. I would say, fair to say, best known for playing with the Philadelphia A's. That's fair to say.
Yeah, it has to be. And I think he suffers the penalty, too, of being with the A's and being amazing. And then he went to the White Sox and was great. And then he played for Detroit, and he played for, I think, Washington for a quick minute. And you start looking at his career, and you're like, yeah, it's tough when a fan base can't embrace you. It's tough to earn 2 statues.
Right.
So you kind of have to, it's tough.
Right. And he was, and those Philadelphia A's teams, he had some pretty incredible players on that team that he was, sharing the spotlight with, if you will.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think there's something to the idea, and a lot of folks have seen this. I've bid on the image, but you always see that image at like the first All-Star game of Ruth, Gehrig, Fox, and Al Simmons.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people see like the 3 they know, and they're like, "Who's the other dude? Like, how did he get invited?"
Right.
Like that's where he was ranked in that time. Like he was legit. He was. Yeah, when you're hitting 380 4 times in your career, you deserve to be in that picture.
Yeah, I love the deep dive that you do on the players. Yeah, maybe I'll be the set guy because you're the player. You go deep in the weeds on the players, and I love that. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun.
So what do you think? You want to share a few?
Yeah, you want me to show first? You want to show first?
Yeah, why don't you show a few? You've got more, so you go, then I'll go, then we'll get back to you.
All right, cool. I should have matched sets to see what you have so I don't overlap, but I'll show some of my just standard size graded stuff first. We'll start there.
Beautiful.
So 33 Goudey, very reasonable. These are actually neat on the back too. He's with the White Sox at that point.
Correct.
So not that the image necessarily is reflective of that, but on the back at least it talks about it. The next two I put together because I've got this set. He was one of the few that I felt like I had to get both because he's got one where he has
Nothing.
where is it? Yeah, he's got socks on
Yep.
his jersey, and then he's got airbrush nothing on his jersey.
Yep.
So that's a super cool way to collect Al Simmons, is to look at those and pick your team. He's in this little set, which is again kind of a testimony to who he is. W565. There's only 4 baseball players in it, so I was fortunate to complete that little mini run. But kind of a weird little set, to be honest. It's an all black back, which I feel like makes the front look even that much more interesting to understand and digest. But
those were hand cut, correct?
Yeah, it's a W. So
and
yeah, those can
and
be.
You got a monster number on that. That is definitely not Aaron like.
No, that's one of those really interesting sets. If you dive into those, you just got to find one. I'm trying to complete this little mini thing, and I got the Gehrig first, and I'm like, all right, I need like Lazeri and Al Simmons, and so when they pop up, you're like, well, they don't go for 8 times what an authentic is. They kind of go for a little bit more,
Okay.
which is good. Yeah, if that was $1,000 card, I'm out. But
right.
If an A is $100 and that one's $125, I'm like, I'll take a 7. That's neat.
Right, exactly.
So
exactly.
Right. It's a little more.
Oh, that's awesome. We'll have to talk later about that set a little bit more. You'll have to educate me on that.
Yeah, with all of 4. The other one that's in there is Harry Heilman.
Okay.
So it's another player that's under the radar, but 340 plus career hitter. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, this card is obviously, that's actually one of the more expensive Al Simmons cards I have.
Yeah, that set in general has climbed quite a bit, and I want that card. That was the first Al Simmons card. That, and then obviously the Diamond Stars, which is way more affordable. But my endeavors into the DeLong was going to be the Al Simmons.
It's cool. It really is. The colors, anything in that set is amazing. That's a set that I need to keep picking away at for the ones I want, at least.
Sure.
But yeah, that's all I have that's like standard size graded.
Okay.
I've got ungraded, I've got some oversized and whatever else, but
I have nothing of standard size for him. So we already showed his premium, so we know that's not standard size. I went on, for those who didn't see my videos, I did a couple national videos. I went on an Al Simmons run at the National. So 3 of the 5 Al Simmons that I own, I picked up at the National. So we already showed the Goudey premiums. This is my 1929 cash-in, and in beautiful shape. Blank backs with a little tone. So you can kind of see that tone there. So 29 cash-in. This was a crazy good deal. This was like an Aaron / Joe / Jason card. I wanted to add this set to my collection. Al Simmons would have been the guy I wanted to add. I was walking by a booth at the National, and he had it listed. I don't mind talking about the price. I already did it. Had it listed at $100. I asked him if he would take 80, and he instantly said yes, which means I should have said 70. But so there's my 33 tattoo orbit. And again, another one that I love. This is the first card of Al Simmons that I have in his Sox uniform. So, and my first tattoo orbit. You will see on the back a little bit stainy, but that's perfect for me. That's why I got it for $80. So I'll take it all day long.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Yeah, just beautiful, like Art Deco kind of, for those who aren't familiar with Tattoo Orbit, Art Deco kind of artistic view of them, and I just think they're phenomenal. Then I went back to the Jason route, which is always, little oversized fine pen. So we've got his 36 fine pen. Bought that off of a local dealer here, who I know fairly well. And then my most recent purchase, which I just did a video on, is his wide pen. So beautiful image, absolutely beautiful image. Blank back, much like the fine pen. So we're talking if we're talking designations, we're talking 313 fine pen, 314 wide pen, correct?
Yep, you got it.
So I needed to make sure, so in case I was wrong.
Yeah, perfect. Cool.
All
Cool,
right.
cool.
Fire away. You got some fire. I know you do.
It's that's the crazy thing with Al Simmons. Unless you find one of those like crazy off the beaten path ones, they're all kind of reasonable, accessible cards.
Yes.
This one I picked up because I loved his whole name, but that's the only post playing days one I will show. It's the 1961. That's a Wrigley Field issue, so it's a postcard.
I remember you doing that video actually. Now that you briefly mentioned that to me, and does his first name have any significance at all, or?
So it's actually it's my dad's actual and my grandfather's actual first name. So
Right.
Aloysius is a little bit
That's what
on
I
the crazy
side.
side.
I had to ask.
Yeah. My mom, actually married and unmarried, my mom always called him Aloysius. So that's what it looks like.
Right.
We always knew either that was playful or that was somebody's in trouble and he's got
Right. Exactly
bring
right.
dinner back sooner. These are always cool too. That's a great way to just snag some unique players, some cool images. So the batter ups. 34 to 36 kind of era.
36, very affordable. Again, if you're not looking for a high grade or a mid grade and you just want to add players, they also there are sets out there that even in lower grades just kind of maintain themselves well, in my opinion. I think the batter ups are one of them. I think you can get a batter up in a quote unquote low grade 1 or 2 and it still looks phenomenal. So then in my case, then buy it ungraded and just keep it ungraded and then it's perfect. So
that's where I live life for sure too. Passion.
Yes, sir.
Playing the match game for a quick second here. Got the wide pen.
Dozens of dollars.
It's beautiful. R315. I realized as I was sharing stuff from the set that I was deficient and lacking. So when I have a choice, I pick up a player that I collect. So R315 of Al Simmons is always good.
Extremely deficient in that set, and I need to add quickly because I don't have any, and I love it. I love the nameplate on the bottom. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you. When you're done showing, we'll get into it. It's going to step away from this player on the set. Oh, it's going to be about that set, but I just want to ask you anyways. Maybe you know. So
okay, for sure. I included a multi. So this is to me one of the absolute best cards in the entire set. When you get those 3 players together, to me that is just huge. So it's Jimmy Fox, misspelled Fox, Al Simmons in the middle, and Mickey Cochran. So
a younger Mickey Cochran, right? I mean, he's fairly young there. Is that 36, right?
36? Yeah. I mean, he's in the league for a little bit though at that point.
Yeah, you're right.
And somebody updated, I don't know who they were referring to. I guess maybe they're Jimmy Fox fans. It says Boston Red Sox on the back. So anything I can do to get half off, you can write Red Sox on the back of all my cards. That's fine. So it worked out.
Perfect.
Amazing image, ungraded. Absolutely have to do it. Mine's pretty clean, pretty respectable.
Yours clean.
Back's decent. So I don't have any problems with that. That's a great one to be able to take it out and see what that set feels like. What's neat and why I wanted to show that one in this order, you end up with the exact same image. This one is one of the rougher ones. You don't see a lot of these, the Warsh. And I don't mind something having a little bit of extra care and love to it. So it was pinned up in the top corners and it's got a few things to it that are a little creative, but his main image is still fantastic.
Right. So, and basically the full image of the tattoo orbit, fair to say, right?
Yeah.
Close to it.
Yeah. No, I think it definitely is. I mean, if you go side by side,
it's on the money.
Yeah, that is definitely the exact same image, which I'm finding more and more as I add different sets. It's just what they do. R313.
Yes, sir.
Matchy match.
Oh, you've got yours in a case though. It was a bargain case. It had to have been.
And it's a good student because it's got an A, so it's good.
right.
W517. That's another one that's always on my favorite list.
Yeah, I need to dive in. I know Rick and Mangini have done a deep dive on that. I know that has been a favorite of your set for a while, or of yours for a while, that particular set. And I need to dive into it. It's a great set.
These last three are pure Jason.
Yes, yeah. There's one online right now. I was eyeing it up.
Butterfinger is always just so amazing.
The images are phenomenal.
Yeah. The fact you get a real image from that era is just crazy. Here's one we got to get on your list. I think that's one of his better images too.
I think so too. I passed up on it in Strongsville, if you remember, and I regret it. Yeah,
the Wheaties is super cool, and these things are always a little smudgy and crazy and pinholes, and you don't need that thing graded. You need that thing to just be on the wall and look awesome. So
yep, be it. Just be what it is.
This one is, I don't think it was made to be folded like 8 times, but I have a couple of these that are. What a cool set. It's probably the earliest item of his that I have. 1927. I want to make sure. No, this came out December of 26. So I guess we could say this is the 26th issue. This is the M101-7. So Sporting News supplement. So a 26 issue is pretty early in his career. I think his first year was 24, if I'm not mistaken.
I've never seen that, Aaron. That's amazing. I've never seen that, or if I have, I can't remember that I've seen that. That's a beautiful image.
Yeah, it's and one of the things I find, and I find myself saying this a lot with videos, and I'm trying to stop myself from doing it. Saying I've shown this before. When you reshuffle them, there's certain videos. I don't do a lot of like recent pickup stuff. I don't do that as often because a lot of mine I try and think of like why I think of it. So now you've seen it as an Al Simmons. I might have shown it as I picked this up, but there were 6 cards that they were kind of not congruent. Right. So it might not have been registered. Like it was, I don't know, that was neat. Who was that again? Was that Mickey Cochran? Like it doesn't click, but when you see it as all Al Simmons or all that set, you're like, okay, now I got it.
Right. Well, that's the funny thing. As I've been walking down this, evolution in my collecting, I now have the ability to kind of share a few of them, right? Not 20 of them, but maybe 3, 4, or 5 of them, and do a video on them and kind of talk about sets and things of that nature, which I'm really, really enjoying. The one thing that I will say is, I've tried to convince everybody to go down the pre-war rabbit hole like you did with me. There is so much out there, and I'm fixated on like 5 sets right now. And the set we're talking about today happens to be one of them. But there are just 5 sets that really captured me, and I kind of like only look at those right now until I get everything that I want out of them within reason, right? Some of them have some Ruths that would be a little bit much, but I just that's where I'm at right now. And the Butterfingers is one of those sets as well, as you know. So my quick question to take us off track. We've been on for 53 minutes, so I can take us off track a little bit. The R315s. Have you ever seen the Dazzy Vance?
Yes.
And there's a streak running down the middle of the card, almost like it's retouched, correct?
So you see that on a lot of them. Jimmy Fox has the same issue. There's always a line that seems to be going down the middle of it.
Okay.
Dazzy Vance is definitely one. Hubble seems to come out clean. Al Simmons, I will say it's not real significant. Let me see if I can get my finger to it. Right here, there is a very faint.
I see it.
So if I get in really, really close, almost all of them have that.
But Dazzy's is like right in the middle of the image, and like it almost looks like they spliced 2 negatives together to make the image. I mean, it's that far off. Because again, I was doing a deep dive on that set of what am I going to add? Who am I going to add? Who don't I have yet? He happened to be one of them, and I looked at like 40 of them. I'm like, what is this? And I was zooming in on them, so that makes sense. I'm sorry to get off track. I just had to ask you that.
That's perfectly on track. At some point, we'll dive in. I don't know enough to talk about that set in a very fun way. Like, here's my 3 cards. Let's move on. But,
right.
Yeah, there's a Gehrig that's glorious. It's a beautiful image. Carl Hubble, that's kind of his first
considered rookie, right?
Yeah, I mean, kind of the discussion of what's a rookie and
Right.
so many of these things. It's some people consider this like an Al Simmons rookie, but he already had 500 MLB hits when that came out. So
Right.
it's
Right.
a little tough to
But
define, but it's one of his earlier issues for sure.
it's funny that that happens, and I think John Mangini mentioned that Luis Gill, however, the pitcher for the Yankees, he
Hmm.
pitched today. He won Rookie of the Year, but it was like his second year in the
Yeah,
league when he won it, and he had already pitched whatever the designated amount of games you can pitch prior to no longer being a rookie. He met that criteria, so it's funny that what designates the rookie card and how people look at that, and oh, it's his first issue, and you can find 15 other issues that theoretically might not be official issues to some, but they're out there. So
yeah.
yeah.
We were talking about Sandberg today.
Yes. Yes.
83, everything is his rookie, and you're like, you've seen the 82 Red Lobster? Like, yeah, it's an awesome card. I love that card. But
Right.
where does that fall? It's a Red Lobster issue. It's not Topps, Fleer, Donruss, but it's
But it's a great
awesome.
card, and
Yeah,
it's a great card. And shout out to Brad's Vintage Collection. So he showed his, and he's a local guy in Chicago here. So when he showed his, I immediately texted you. I said, "You familiar with this?" Oh yeah, I got it, and it's autographed. I'm like, oh, of course you do. So it's an
yeah.
awesome. So I might go for a little lesser card, although I didn't find any of his in a lower grade. So maybe they're out there. Maybe they're not crazy expensive. But the Sandberg's a beautiful image. So
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Well, I think we did what we wanted to accomplish for episode 1 of Player and Set Deep Dive. Right? We talked about
Yeah,
the set. We talked about the player in depth. Veered off only a little bit, but that was my fault. So
because we're having fun. That's how it goes.
yes, yes. So I guess we're creeping up on an hour, so we'll shut it down. The goal is
Yeah,
to do this once a month. We'll pick a player, we'll pick a set, and we'll take it from there. So I hope everybody enjoyed this. If you guys have any knowledge about the player or the set that we're talking about, something we may have missed, by all means, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. That's what this is all about. We're all learning here. No one's an expert. We're having fun. So hope you enjoyed this. Aaron, I hope you had a good time. I had a blast, my friend.
yeah, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, fun.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Until next time, guys, we'll talk then. Thanks for jumping on, everybody. Bye-bye.
See ya.